Hi there, folks. I am C.D. Madsen, creator of Democracy 2.0 and founder of the Solon Academy. I have degrees in philosophy, psychology, and history, and I'm also, amongst other things, what we call a parliamentarian. Now, I know a lot of you might think that that means I'm a member of parliament, but I'm not an MP. So what does that mean? Well, basically, it means I've written a rigorous mastery level entrance exam on the infamous and much maligned Robert's Rules of Order. Robert's Rules is the current standard rule system for parliamentary procedure in democratic meetings. Now, that's a kind of a mouthful. It means that if you attend a meeting of a group that uses a democratic model of governance, you've very likely been exposed to Robert's Rules. Moving and seconding motions, amendments, getting the floor to speak, those are all parts of the rules of order during a democratic meeting. So for instance, if you're a condo owner, you might be, if you were an owner of a condo, you would have a vote in the building meetings. Locally, we call those stratas. They have different names, different places. Also, perhaps you are in a professional association, a union, an advocacy group, something like that. Or maybe a nonprofit group, a charity, a club, that kind of thing. Anything that is a group of people that get together and make their decisions through a binding group decision-making process that is a democratic process. When first faced with the sorts of kind of hyper-bureaucratic rules of order that Robert's Rules sort of exemplifies, most people are immediately alienated from the democratic process. It tends to turn people off. It's not a fun process for a beginner to be thrown into without any exposure. They're generally silenced and shut down. Most people come away with a negative impression. Many people become cynical, and unfortunately, the cynicism usually is targeted at the democratic process itself rather than where I think it should be, which is at the rule system. Many people sort of develop this sort of wistful fondness, very conservative fondness for the expediency of dictatorship, of being able to just do what you want without rules or things getting in the way, bureaucracy. In a nutshell, our civilization has lost the art of participatory democracy. And in so doing, I believe we have created the perfect incubator for a return to tyranny. Okay, so at this point, I have a confession to make. Here's my confession. This is my 20-year-old copy of the 9th edition of Robert's Rules of Order. As you might be able to tell, I love Robert's Rules of Order. Since the 90s, I've been defending it against naysayers and critics. Unfortunately, almost nobody likes it. Just about everyone I ever talked to has nothing but bad things to say about Robert's Rules. For 20 years, 2 decades, I have argued with people. I have advocated for Robert's Rules. I've tried to explain to them that it's either misused or misunderstood or misapplied. I've repeatedly argued for people to simply read it. Look at that size. No one will ever read this. Now, this is the old one. This is from the 1990s. This is the 9th edition. This is the new one. This is the current one. This is the 11th edition. It's 716 pages long. 716 pages. Let's be frank. Who's going to read that? If you have an annual general meeting for your building, you're a condo owner, you get a letter from your condo association saying, we're having an annual general meeting. We're going to decide how to spend millions of dollars in your money that we collect with a club, because you can't refuse. Who's going to read that? Well, frankly, no one. No one reads it. It's simply too big. Robert's Rules of Order is just too long and complicated for 99% of the people who matter. That's the busy voting public, people who have lives and loves, places to be and things to do. They are not going to read Robert's Rules. It's just too cumbersome. It's simply the wrong system. This is my realization. Robert's Rules is the wrong system for effective group decision making in the vast majority of democratic organizations. It's not about fairness. It's not about equality or creating a level playing field. It's not about the democratic process in its ideal form. Frankly, it's about how to screw people over while keeping the high moral ground. Robert's Rules creates the massively most ridiculously unlevel playing field possible. And in my view, that makes it intrinsically anti-democratic. The reality is, for democratic group decision making to work, the process must be easy for everyone to understand and participate in, not just the elite few hacks who have the time and aptitude to master a 760-page tome. That's not democracy. So, I set out, with all that in mind, to build Democracy 2.0 in order to fill that need. Democracy 2.0 is an ultra-lightweight rules of order system for democratic meetings. It's tailored specifically to fit the needs of small to medium-sized nonprofits, and it's designed for practical use by ordinary people facing everyday realities. Democracy is, by definition, about equality. A democratic rule system must create a level playing field. Robert's Rules of Order does a very excellent job of anticipating every possible circumstance that could come about and making a rule for it and prescribing exactly what you should say and exactly how you should say it. Okay, that's Robert's Rules of Order. It's all about the specific. And it does an excellent job. And if that's going to suit your organization, then Robert's Rules is amazing. I, on the other hand, have gone the other direction entirely. I've only adopted specific rules in very important, sort of critical areas. Otherwise, I've created 21 general principles. So what I've tried to do is condense and distill and analyze, frankly, the wisdom of trial and error over 2,500 years. And going through things like Robert's Rules and other systems, similar systems, I've preserved what I think is necessary. And I've thrown out pretty much everything else, or I've merged it, synthesized it. Now, Robert's Rules lists 86, let me just pull it out and show you here. 86 motions in Robert's Rules of Order. Well, do you want to read that? Most people don't want to read that. Are they necessary? Almost none of them are necessary. Almost all of them can be condensed or distilled. And what I've done is reduce the number of motions down to 9 standardized motions in 3 separate categories. Vast majority of organizations will never need to ever use most of those other motions. And frankly, if the other extra motions are things that are necessary for your organization, then Robert's Rules is probably for you. I believe strongly that the time is ripe for Democracy 2.0. This is a project that I've had on my back burner for literally a decade, and only recently have I taken the time and cleared my schedule to make it my priority. But I do need your help to make the whole project come to fruition. I already have the basic rule system in place in the form of the Voting Members Handbook. And I have already made great progress building an online web platform for the digital distribution of Democracy 2.0 worldwide through the web. You can view my public website at solonacademy.com. It's down below there if you want to look. And you can also download the first draft of the Voting Members Handbook there or on the Kickstarter project page. Download it, read it, try it at your meetings, share it. Please pledge on Kickstarter and send me feedback. Feedback is very important. It's not a done deal. This is still a work in progress, and I frankly still hope to make improvements. And tell everybody. Share it on Facebook. Share with your friends and colleagues in other democratic organizations, especially those who are struggling with these sorts of issues. And don't stop. Just keep telling people, if you feel that this is possibly a solution for your situation, then there's bound to be thousands of others out there who are in similar situations. Thank you very much for your time. Please pledge, and I hope to talk to you all soon.